Welcome in. This is the San Francisco 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Senior. No matter where you are or how you're tuned in, we appreciate you for making the 49ers Report a part of your day. On the docket for today's show, an updated list of 49ers training camp winners and losers, and we're going to go about this show a little bit different than what we've done in the past. We'll get to that list on who's been shining and the duds so far from Santa Clara, but first, today's show presented by Aura. You know how Trent Williams protects any quarterback that is on this 49ers roster as the best left tackle in the National Football League? Well, Aura also provides you protection as a digital online leader in digital online safety tools. You head to aura.com/chatsports, and nowadays with everything living online, these hackers are able to steal your information, hack your bank accounts, but with Aura, you don't have to worry about that. Start your free 14-day trial by plugging in that link at the bottom of your screen. I'll put that link in the comment section and the description of this video. So we begin with some 49ers winners, and we'll pivot back and forth with some losers as well. The clear winner up to this point from 49ers training camp, by far and away, has been Brandon Aiyuk. Going into a critical year 3, the production has certainly been there in his rookie year and his sophomore campaign. He's just been a little bit inconsistent, but those inconsistencies, not an issue at all from Santa Clara. He's been unstoppable in one-on-ones, going up against the likes of Emmanuel Mosley, Jimmy Ward, Charvarius Ward, and oftentimes it's been Brandon Aiyuk winning those matchups. He's provided this offense with something that we haven't seen the last couple of years. It is that deep threat, but also he's been really good in the red zone, scoring some tutties. Great continuity is what he's been able to build with Trey Lance. And with Deebo Samuel not practicing for a little while because of that contract situation and because he's playing catch-up right now, Brandon Aiyuk has been able to take advantage of Deebo being away and now Deebo catching up, and Aiyuk has been the number one wide receiver from training camp up to this point. So I want to put you to the test in the comment section right now. And the thought of this question might sound crazy. Who has more receiving yards in 2022, Brandon Aiyuk or Deebo Samuel? I don't think it's that crazy of an argument, though. Let me know what you think and predict it for me. BA for Aiyuk, DS for Deebo. Let me know right now in the comment section. Now we start off and begin and continue this show with some losers as we continue to go back and forth. I'm keeping you on your toes a little bit. Jake Brendel's been on his heels a lot throughout training camp because he's gotten pushed back by fellow defensive linemen. And he's a loser in training camp. So too is Daniel Brunskill, because neither of them have been able to separate themselves and lock down that number one starting center role. Now, the 49ers did release their first official depth chart of the preseason, with preseason football getting underway from Santa Clara on Friday against the Green Bay Packers. Type FGB if you're a real one. And Jake Brendel, as of now, is the first string center. But Kyle Shanahan was asked about that on Tuesday and said, Jake Brendel is the starting center because I had to list a starting center. So he is the guy who's snapping the ball to Trey Lance, but him and Daniel Brunskill have been sharing those duties. Elsewhere along the trenches, Trent Williams, best left tackle in the game, holding it down on that left side. Aaron Banks at left guard. Spencer Burford, who continues to shine as a rookie. We'll get to him in a little while, starting at right guard, and Mike McGlinchey at right tackle. There's no question that this Niners offensive line, a little bit of a question mark going into 2022, especially on top of the fact that Trey Lance is inexperienced and you need to provide him with protection up front. So where are you at with this offensive line? C for concerned and W for not worried. We go back to another winner, Charvarius Ward. And really, it's been Aiyuk and Ward who have been the two consistent winners so far in Niners training camp. And that's a really good thing for San Francisco because Aiyuk needs to emerge as one of this team's top playmaking options offensively, and he's going into a big year 3 as I talked about. And then for Charvarius Ward, the biggest splash in free agency for San Francisco as they gave him that contract worth about $14 million per year. And Charvarius Ward is a player who was slept on to start his career in the National Football League, but over time, and with each year, he's gotten better and better and better. He's a little bit of an analytical darling as well. And last year, he kind of broke out, especially on the back half of the year. He was targeted 72 times a year ago, only gave up 36 receptions, completion percentage good for 50%, which is pretty solid in today's pass-happy NFL. 8 pass breakups and 2 interceptions. And then when you look at some of the coverage splits from Pro Football Focus and other analytical hubs, Charvarius Ward grades out very well. Another winner on the opposite field of Charvarius Ward is Emmanuel Moseley. Moseley and Ward figure to be one of the top cornerback duos that this franchise has seen, in recent memory. And oftentimes here on the channel, we've talked about Moseley continuing to play really, really good football. You can make the argument that in practices so far, he's actually been the number 1 cornerback by a slight margin over Charvarius Ward. But that's really great news for San Francisco and D'Amico Ryans. You have 2 really good corners on the outside. Right now, it looks like Darqueze Dennard is going to be the starting nickel, but Samuel Womack is right on his heels. But if you get good secondary play, on top of this 49ers defensive line being one of the best, most talented, and deepest in the National Football League, they're going to get after opposing quarterbacks, allowing Ward and Moseley to eat up as those outside corners on the outside. As I mentioned off the top of the show, we are presented by Aura. We do more online than ever, and Aura does everything and more to keep you safe. Just like Trent Williams holding it down from that left tackle spot last year, protecting Jimmy Garoppolo, and this year and moving forward, protecting Trey Lance. If you want online protection like Trent Williams provides his 49ers roster, get signed up today. And also, in doing so, near real-time alerts on suspicious credit inquiries and online suspicious activity. All you got to do, aura.com/chatsports, and you can save that money and get that free 14-day trial today. Another training camp loser, Jauan Jennings. So we've looked at the offensive line here for the losers aspect of the show. Now we go out to the wide receiver position. And Jennings has had a slow start to training camp. Now he is kind of a player who plays better in game action than he does in practices because he's not going to wow you athletically by any means. But Jennings entered camp with a really good opportunity on his plate as the clear wide receiver number 3. Hasn't done really much to lock down that spot. He's dropped some passes. He's been inconsistent. Hasn't been targeted often because he frankly hasn't gotten open often throughout camp. And Ray McCloud, another one of those sneaky good free agent acquisitions, has really made a big play every single day. So is he going to be wide receiver 3? Is it going to be Jauan Jennings? I like JJ. He gives you that good size coming out of the slot at 6'3", and last year really emerged as a go-to playmaker, but it is a great competition so far in training camp, and preseason will go a long way in determining who will be wide receiver number 3. According to that depth chart that I referenced earlier, Jauan Jennings still in a good spot. But who do you think will be wide receiver 3? JJ for Jauan Jennings, RM for Ray, DG for the Rook, Danny Gray. Last training camp winner here, Spencer Burford, the 4th-round pick out of UTSA. And basically, all throughout camp, he has been getting every single rep at right guard. And when the depth chart was released, guess who was starting at right guard next to Mike McGlinchey and next to Jake Brendel? It is Spencer Burford, who is really athletic out in space, has really good feet. There weren't many questions about him coming out of college other than the fact that he needed to refine his skills a little bit, needed to get a little bit stronger, and the level of competition a little bit of a concern when you go to UTSA. But he's proved all of his detractors and all of his doubters wrong up to this point, locking down that right guard spot, and barring any injury, I think that Burford's going to be the guy on opening day. Last loser now, it's Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, I'm not ripping Jimmy G. I respect what he's been able to bring this organization, winning 71% of his starts over the last several years, 2 NFC title games over 3 years, that Super Bowl appearance, but he's a loser, not because of his action, just because of things that he can't necessarily control, and he's losing out on maybe becoming a starting quarterback in time for the regular season by not getting dealt. Continues to rehab, the trade market is dry so far, and the Niners listed him as the 4th quarterback on this depth chart. Kyle Shanahan was asked about that, of course, because it's like, oh, Jimmy G, 4th-string quarterback behind Trey Lance, behind Nate Sudfeld, Brock Purdy as well. But Kyle Shanahan said, I put him 4th because I basically had to put him 4th. But Garoppolo is a starting caliber quarterback in this league, and he's won a lot of games. No, he's not going to dice you up, and he's not going to chuck it all over the yard 40 to 50 times per game, right? But he is capable of leading a team to a deep playoff run. He's led a team to a Super Bowl. And he's a quality starting quarterback. So for him to not get that opportunity, he himself would probably say, yeah, I'm a loser when it comes down to training camp winners and losers because I'm not sniffing the field as of right now. Want to hear from you, faithful, once more in the comment section before we round out this segment. Who is your biggest winner and your biggest loser up to this point in training camp? Let me know in the comment section. Make sure you subscribe. We'll be doing a watch party on Friday night. Cannot wait for it, and appreciate all of you for rocking and rolling with us here on the Niners Report.